everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Rich, and behind me I have my Samsung refrigerator. Late 2017 is when I purchased it. It was right before I was doing my kitchen remodel, and these refrigerators are notoriously problematic with the Icemakers. These Icemakers tend to have condensation buildup, and what happens is it builds up frost as the freeze and thaw cycle happens within the Icemaker, and that causes buildup and basically clogs the Icemaker from being able to dump the ice into the ice tray, and it stops it from making ice, and you have to end up scraping it to get it to work again. So mine does work. The last time I used it, I have a tabletop Icemaker that I've been using for the last couple of months, just because we got sick of having to kind of scrape it and dethaw it every 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm going to try to resolve it so that we can continue using the Icemaker in the refrigerator. There are a couple of solutions out there that I've seen online, and we're going to try to fix this using some of those options. I'm going to go with the cheapest options first. That makes the most sense. Let's see if the cheapest option resolves it. If it does, great. If not, we'll move on to the next option. So we're going to kind of combine this video over a number of weeks because I have to kind of see if the Icemaker will resolve itself and that there aren't any issues. In any case, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you what we've got. So what happens is this thing ends up getting so frosted and frozen that it becomes difficult to actually pull this ice tray, the ice tray out. I haven't used mine in a while, so it's definitely doesn't have any ice in it. But as you can see, there's a whole bunch of frost buildup right here that it's still happening even though I don't have the Icemaker, like I have the actual ice machine turned off. But condensation just builds up in here. Part of the issue with these is that they're not sealed up very well, so you have essentially the warm air that's in this refrigerator, it infiltrates this area and causes condensation. Another area that's a problem that causes condensation and warm air to infiltrate this area is your dispenser area. Well, there's a door down here at the bottom, and if that door doesn't seal itself up, warm air can rise and reach this area, causing it to contribute to the frost buildup that's here. I need to go ahead and thaw all this frost and get rid of it. So I'm not going to bore you with that. You can use, and I'll show you, you can either use the forced defrost mechanism built into the refrigerator, and it will force the heating element to heat up, and it will thaw everything here, and it'll melt and drop down, and then you just have to wipe it up. Or you can actually just get a steamer, and that's what I'm going to use because it's a little faster, is to go ahead and get a steamer, put it in here, and get everything to thaw out pretty quickly, and then we can wipe everything up and clean it. So I'm going to go through that process, and then I'll bring you back. So to put the Icemaker into a forced defrost mode, you want to use this panel to accomplish that. So you want to press the freezer button and the cool select button at the same time and hold that for approximately I think it's like 8 to 10 seconds, and you'll get a readout, and then we'll go through the cycle process to get the forced defrost, and it's an FD setting. So this is what you do. That's forced defrost. Now it's going to beep for 30 minutes while it's in forced defrost mode, but I don't really want to do that. I think it's just annoying. But if you wanted to just thaw it out and then start over if you don't have a steamer, that's a way to do it. I'm going to go ahead and use a steamer so that I don't have to listen to this for the next 30 minutes. So I'm probably going to have to unplug it and plug it back in to get that to stop. Okay, so I've got this thing thawed. It's still kind of a little bit wet, but I'm trying to get it dried off. But I want to go ahead and begin disassembling this, taking the Icemaker out and pulling the auger out, because I want to go ahead and seal this gap where this box beats the wall of the refrigerator. It's not sealed very well, and as you start thawing things, this water builds up right here, and you'll actually notice water seeping down these walls right here. Like, you can still see water seeping right into that area, because it's not sealed up properly. So part of the fix is to stop air from escaping this box, and we're going to do that with some HVAC tape. Some folks say to use silicone caulk. That's one option. I think I like the tape better. It's better of a gap sealer than the caulking, because the caulking may separate over time and there's movement, and potentially with condensation you get more mold and things like that. So I think I like that better. If as another option, I can also add caulking on the outside, just as another precaution. But let's do this part first. So the first thing that we need to go ahead and do is remove this plate so that we can unplug the Icemaker and the auger, and to do that we got to remove this screw. So let's go ahead and pull that out. And then we also need to remove the screw to the Icemaker right here. There's a refrigerant element inside here. It's like a U shape, and that's what freezes everything. So there is refrigerant inside it, and you don't want to break it, because if you do, you will ruin the refrigerator. It will not function any longer, and you'll be in a world of hurt. Now that we've got that down, back there, there's the refrigerant tube right there. Just push this tab in to release this plug. Okay. There you go. There it is. You kind of have to bend that tube down a little bit, but you don't want to break it. You try to get this past that lip right there. There you go. Come on, keep coming. There it is. Keep coming. The Icemaker has a heating element that warms up once the ice has been created, so that it slides easily out of the tray. It basically breaks the seal from the ice in the tray itself. And when it causes that, there's like a condensation that drips down, and it drips down into what it's supposed to do is drip down into this tray, and then it drips out of the refrigerator down the chute. So that the condensation drips all the way to the back of the refrigerator. There's some little clips that you're supposed to add back here that weren't here originally, which I thought they were here, but evidently I don't have them. So maybe I need to buy those. And the idea is that these little clips kind of allow the surface tension of the water as it wants to drip away. It drips down by the clips itself, and not all the way to the back here, because what happens is the ice will build up back here, and that's what causes the buildup to kind of migrate. But if you have those clips there, the water has a place to run down and then it drips off the way it's supposed to. So maybe I'll go ahead and buy those clips. They're not really all that expensive. I was just thinking that we would, I thought I already had them, and that we would just seal up the box. But that's why we take it apart and kind of see what we've got. And to remove the auger, so there's a plastic clip. Let me see if I can get a screwdriver in here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So there's a plastic clip right here. This plastic clip, you have to lift this up so that it releases as you pull this thing out. So you can grab the auger with your hand and then with your thumb lift up on this and then pull out. And we can go ahead and just disconnect this plug while we got it. Okay, so that's disconnected. All right, let's see if we can get this out. Well, that's not coming out easy. It must still be frozen in there. It wouldn't come out, and I ended up, there was a piece of ice built up in there and it wouldn't allow it to break free, so I had to get a pretty long screwdriver to pop that loose. So now this can come out. Thank goodness it only took me a half hour to figure out what the heck was going on, so I didn't want to bore you with all that. But so anyway, the auger is finally out. Hopefully it did not break it too badly. Oh, look at all that ice back there. There's a whole bunch of ice. Okay. I wanted to show you exactly where we're going to put tape. So I know that there's a seam right here with this plastic meets this plastic. So I'm gonna basically run it from all the way along the top here, all the way down this side, and tape it to this section so that it's sealed up. I may go to like this right here because this is also a lip and can penetrate. So potentially right along this area, and then the seam where this plastic meets this one. I don't know that I'm going to do this bottom area. It just maybe, but it's probably going to get destroyed with the tray coming in and out. So it may not be, maybe kind of useless to do that. I definitely want to go all along the base right here. So all along this corner, because water was definitely seeping through. I mean, there's definitely air gaps there. And then also in the back, this back bottom area, and then this wall, this corner right up here, and then this air gap right here and this air gap, you got to leave this. This is where the water, the drain tube fits down in, so that's got to stay open. But from here down across and then back here and then up and around is definitely where we want to try and seal as much of this as possible. There you go, that's the full tape job to seal it up. So I've got it sealed all the way around here, and then across the top, and then along the back and the bottom and along here, and I covered up those two little spots in the back, and I've made sure to really stick it down good to make sure that it's got a good seal in case, you know, obviously moisture is going to get in here, so you just want to make sure that it doesn't get in behind that tape to lift it off. So now it's just a matter of reinserting the items back in reverse order. So there was some foam padding here, kind of like this styrofoam type of like weather stripping to seal up this, I guess, this top area so that the air blows. It blows and kind of runs at an elbow, and I guess it seals up the air spots, but it was all deteriorating, so I had some other foam strips that was just in the garage, so I'd kind of replace that. So just kind of check that out if you're pulling this out to do this job. Just make sure that all your little styrofoam seals are in good shape. If not, I'd go ahead and replace it just to make sure that you've got good contact with the sealing of the ice box. Now we can just slide this sucker back in. Hopefully it goes in a lot easier than it came out because it was a pain. Alright, so the next place that we want to try and stop air from penetrating into the Icemaker is through this ice dispenser and water dispenser. Periodically, you gotta do maintenance, unfortunately, with these kinds of refrigerators. And what you have to do is, if you have hard water like this, you want to go ahead and remove this flap and clean the calcium buildup. And to do that, you need to remove this screw that's right here. So we'll pull this one out. So you want to be able to grab right up in here and pull down, but you want to be careful because you don't want to cut your knuckles as you're pulling that down. So getting a little towel and you want to kind of keep your fingers spread apart because you're basically straddling that water line, and that water line's going to stay, but you're going to pull down and it's just going to come out. Just make sure you give it a lot of force. It just doesn't like coming out. And then we want to go ahead and unplug this. And to unplug it, we're just going to squeeze, pinch on that, and pull that plug out of there. Now the next thing we need to do is there's two screws. We need to remove that screw there, and then there's another screw down below here. And then you just pinch this plug and pull that out too. And this is the door that we're trying to get to. We want to clean this rubber flap and clean all this calcium that's built up around here. So the best thing to do is get a little bit of get a rag and a little bit of vinegar, because that will break that calcium down pretty. Okay, so this part we need to clean up too, so just go ahead and wipe that down. Well, you can take this off completely, it looks like. So let's just go ahead and wipe this up. And the rubber's still in good shape, it's just that it's got that calcium buildup and it won't let it seal quite as good as it could. Now we just need to put this back on. There's two little plastic tabs that this little rubber piece connects to, so we just want to make sure we can line those up as we put it back on. Okay, now we can go ahead and reinstall this like we had it before. So let's just go ahead and put this back into place. Okay, we've cleaned all this up and got all the scale and calcium buildup off of it, so we can go ahead and put this back into place. And it's just going to snap back in. There's some clips right here, but we need to plug it in first. And then we kind of slide this up into place. And then we should just be able to pop it back in. Put these little clips back into place. Like that. Okay, now we can just put the tray back into place. And shut it. Okay, we've got the refrigerator put back in place. We turned it on. I've turned on the Icemaker so that it will begin making ice once everything kind of cools down, because right now it's not really at the temperature that it needs to be. So it's going to take a couple of hours before we see if it makes any ice, and it's probably going to take another week or so before I even see if there's any buildup, ice buildup that's happening. And I will keep you updated. I'll come back and we'll take a look and see how things are in a week or so. Okay, so I'm back at it, and it's been about a week and a half since I've worked on this refrigerator. And after about 24 hours of having the Icemaker back in place, I was hoping to have some ice being created, being made, and unfortunately the Icemaker didn't come on. So I needed to go ahead and purchase a replacement Icemaker. So I went ahead and did that, and now that I have the part, we can go ahead and replace that. I also did purchase the little Y clips that you need to add to the back of the refrigeration element. While I know that the Icemaker isn't working, we can take a look, since it's been about a week, to see if any of the insulating tape that I put on assisted in kind of sealing up the ice box itself and helping with the mitigation of frost buildup. So let's take a look and see what we've got there. So getting a closer look at this ice box, unfortunately the taping of the ice box didn't really solve the frost problem. So we're gonna have to replace this Icemaker anyway. So let's go ahead and thaw this thing out so that we can pull the Icemaker out and replace it with the new one. So there's quite a bit of ice buildup along this back side in this element, and I don't know if it was because the Icemaker itself wasn't working, so the heating element in the Icemaker was never turning on to kind of stop this from building up, or what. But I need to kind of remove some of this before we put it back. Okay, so here's the first part that we need to install, and these are the little Y clips. And I'll put a description, or I'll put a link in the description below for where I purchased this. But essentially, these are just little Y clip. It's just a little clip that you clip over top of the tube, and then this faces down so that water, the surface tension of the water, will run to the end of this and drip down. And you put one on each end, each leg of the U-shaped refrigeration tube. So we're just going to install those, as they say to do that. Plus they give you another one of these little plastic units, but there's nothing wrong with the unit that I have, and it's virtually identical, so I'm not really sure why I would really need to replace this. So we're not going to use that. I'm just going to add these clips to it, and then we can go ahead and install the new Icemaker. So the new Icemaker, it's a service pack. Doesn't really give me any other, well, it gives me the model number, so it's here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's the model number for it. This appears to be a factory product. It doesn't look like a remanufactured one or a replacement one. Some of the replacement ones, the plug is a different color, like it's white and it doesn't have this clip on there. Not that it won't work, it's just a little bit different, but this appears to be a factory product. The only thing is this plastic is a little more see-through, maybe a little bit thinner than the original one. Here's the original. Not much difference in it other than the plastic itself. But so hopefully this one's going to work for us without too much trouble. So let's go ahead and get those clips put on, and we can go ahead and install this and put it back. Okay, so unfortunately I didn't hit record when I wanted to. I hit record when I was thinking I was stopping the recording, so I did not record me installing this Icemaker back in. I put the clips, the little metal clips on the back of the tube, on the back side of the tube, and hopefully that water will drain down into this bucket area, and then that drains down into the where that little drain tube comes out, and then this goes all the way down to the back of the refrigerator. So hopefully this will start making ice. So I'm going to give it 24 hours to see if we're going to make anything from it, and I will keep you updated. I'm also going to be looking at the frost buildup to see if the heating element in here warms this up enough to where it dissipates and doesn't let it build up. Alright, so it's been about a week and a half since we last installed the new Icemaker, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what we got. I know that we were making ice because I checked it 24 hours afterwards, but I wanted to see whether or not this was building up frost, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what we got. So I know we've got ice being made, so that's a good thing. It's filled all the way up. So let's see if we got any frost buildup. So as you can see, we really don't have any frost buildup. There's a little bit right here that I notice, but it appears to be that the heating element in here is doing the job. So I'm wondering if what had happened is the heating element here that releases the ice cubes actually heats this all up to where it thaws and then it drains out the back. And what was happening is since the Icemaker kind of, flamed out, that it was building up and not allowing maybe the heating element started going bad first. and my ice maker was still working, but it couldn't actually dump the ice because the heating element was allowing the frost to build up quite a bit. So it appears to have solved the issue. So that is great. I'm excited about that. Time will only tell. I will document it and, see how long this thing will last. And maybe I'll do an update video to keep you posted. Okay, so there you have it. Kind of recapping what we did. Insulated the box with the HVAC tape. That didn't solve the problem. My ice maker was actually bad. I kind of feel like the heating element was the culprit, and that it started to fail before the ice maker actually did, and wouldn't allow for the frost buildup to get thawed because the heating element may not have been working. This new ice maker appears to be working and functioning properly. I don't need to add a secondary heating element to kind of thaw out that frost. Appears not to be necessary. Not to say that it might not be useful in the future, but it appears that this particular ice maker is kind of keeping that at bay for right now. How long it lasts, I really don't know. Is it 3 months, 6 months, maybe 4 years? I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it, and I will post another video if something goes awry. So hopefully this was helpful for folks that have these refrigerators. These issues are kind of reoccurring. It looks like maybe the ice maker is the culprit in this regard. I would still recommend kind of sealing up the box to kind of prevent any warm air from infiltrating it. So I still think that that's an inherently good practice to do if you're kind of in the process of kind of troubleshooting some things. Just good maintenance to keep up with these particular refrigerators because they're just susceptible. So anyway, I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, hit the like or subscribe button and share it with others if you care to. All right, folks, I will see you on the next video.